Welcome back to episode 179 of the Hockey Cards Gongshow podcast. My name is Josh. I'm here with Troy. What's going on, man?
Not a whole lot. We have miserable weather the last 2 days, so I'm going to complain. And now I am trying to watch Tampa Bay, Toronto to see if Austin Matthews can get 70 and Kucherov 100 points or 100 assists.
100 assists. Yeah, McDavid got 100 the other day. Now, if Kucherov did it, that would be just nutty. And then 70 goals. I mean, we're talking about, in all three cases, things that have not been done in a long time. Yep. I really hope that both Matthews and Kucherov get it tonight. That would be pretty awesome. Put a nice bow on the end of the season, Troy.
Definitely.
You've been watching any of the games over the weekend and started this week?
Well, I saw
nutty playoffs race.
Yeah, I saw that crazy Detroit game where they had to win to stay in the playoff hunt, and the defenseman jumped up, stopped the puck from getting out of the zone, then they scored. I think it was it Raymond? Sat there and did a quick stick handle and just basically willed it by the goalie. It was pretty sweet. But then at the end of the day, they didn't even make it. Capitals made it in. Because
Capitals made it
Tortorella pulled the goalie. There's all conspiracy theories and everything about that.
Well, you thought he had to win in regulation, but did you see the blown call in that game?
The goal, so where the puck went up in the air.
Went way up in the air and way behind or in front of Charlie Lindgren.
Yeah.
And the ref thought that he had trapped the puck and blew the whistle. And then the puck lands 4 feet in front of Lindgren and they slam it home. But after
did the ref blow the whistle dead?
Yeah.
Okay, then it stinks, but I get it. There's nothing you can challenge or the rule. I get it stinks, but
they were saying that the only way you could count that as a goal is if he had blown the whistle and the puck was already on the path into the net.
Okay.
And it would have been a goal regardless.
Because that's why, I did see the video of the explanation, but I was kind of in and out looking at it. But I remember the ref talking or saying something I remember the announcers were saying if the path was in the net, but I think the puck came down. Did it hit one of the Flyers guys and then kind of went in the net? So you can say it wasn't going in the net. But
that slotted it in.
That stinks.
After the whistle.
Yeah, that stinks, especially at the end of the year or to get into a playoff spot too.
Very, very tough. So if you would have, or I guess if I would have said on the first show of the year when Alexander Ovechkin had 7 goals and the Washington Capitals were just done, that on today, what is today? It's April 17th, that Ovi would have 31 goals and the Capitals would be in the playoffs. You would have had me committed.
Yeah, that's it's crazy, but I'm glad he picked it up a bit. We'll see what happens next year, and he'll probably need a couple years if he's going to try to break the record, but we'll see.
So I'm on the ESPN NHL standings, and I've got the wild card standings up.
Yeah,
and I'm searching for our team, Troy, the Minnesota Wild, and I see them. You have to go a little bit down the list, and there's an E by them, and I'm curious as to what does E stand for? Exciting? Or excellent, or what do you think the E stands for?
Eliminated.
Oh, great. Yeah.
Sweet. I remember there was one point in March where we were 2 points out or 3 points out, and the Wild just proceeded to go 4-5-1 or something and basically get
I think we both mentally checked out on our team in December, though.
Yeah.
You just knew, if you watch this team, you just knew that they did not have the juice to make it to the playoffs. And the only good thing about your beloved team, the team you root for, having the E, the dreaded E for eliminated, is it leads to pretty stress-free playoff watching.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have a horse in the race.
And we don't have legalized teams. I was going to say, we don't have legalized sports betting, so I can't do that here.
Yeah, there you go. Well, we got a huge show, so might as well get right into it. Before we do, though, just a very quick reminder that our show, the Hockey Cards Gongshow podcast, is a Patreon podcast. What that really means is that we rely on support from our listeners to keep the show going, help us cover our expenses. Yeah, stop laughing. There is money that takes to run this show, believe it or not. And produce more and hopefully better hockey card content and fun initiatives, even in a small way to grow the hockey card hobby. It's very easy to support us. You can do it through Patreon. We have a support level tier that starts at $5. It's our out of $199 supporters, so it's basically one of the first 199 supporters of our show, kind of like a hockey card is numbered.
Yeah.
To support us, we can go to our website, hockeycardsgongshow.com, check it out, but then click on the Become a Patron link at the top of the page, or you go to the Patreon website directly, patreon.com, and search for Hockey Cards Gongshow. There's a link in the show description if you're listening to us on a podcast app or watching us on YouTube, and then finally a link in our TikTok and Instagram profiles there as well. All right, man, you ready with the game plan for today?
All right. On today's show, we begin with the almost greatest NHL player to wear number 79. Then it's time for another installment of Hobby Deep Dive, right? Is it Hobby Deep Dive? What are you doing? I can't remember. Set Deep.
It's Hobby Deep
set.
Dive. Whatever. Whatever.
Hobby Deep Dive. Looking at a set. How about that?
It's our show, Troy. We can make up the rules.
Yeah, we can do whatever we want. We don't have to follow the outline if we don't. Next, we take a look at some hobby news, followed by a segment on looking at some of the spring debuts in the NHL that could lead to 24-25 Series 1 Young Guns. It's always fun to see the new crop of kids coming to the league.
Kids.
Yeah. Next is new product releases, followed by taking a look at some of our favorite hockey cards in the current PWCC weekly auction. We end the show with personal pickups. Okay. Previously, we looked at the greatest NHL player that wore the number that matched our episode number. We ran through the numbers, so we are now looking at the almost greatest NHL player to wear each number from the runners-up in the Hockey Writers' greatest NHL player to wear each number article. Josh, the almost greatest player, NHL player to wear number 79, per the nominees in the Hockey Writers' greatest NHL player to wear each number article, and selected by me is Michael Furland. Got him up there on the screen. Really nice picture. There were no other runners-up at number 79. As a reminder, the greatest to wear number 79 was Andrei Markov. Now, this one, I will admit, gets kind of weird. And
I like weird.
Well, again, sticking to the bit, I'm going with who the Hockey Writers had as their runner-up in their article at number 79, which was Michael Furland. However, I also looked up players that wore number 79, and they could have easily went with Alexei Yashin, who wore 79 for 5 seasons with the Islanders, and during that time had 290 points while he was wearing 79. I don't know why they didn't. I don't know if they missed that or maybe I'm the only one crazy enough to keep looking at it, but I'm assuming if they ever refresh this list, it might change, or there's actually some pretty decent players in the NHL right now. They would have to play a little bit longer, I think, to make the list. But Keandre Miller currently wears 79. Now, he's not a huge goal scorer or anything, but he's produced, 30 to 40 points.
Where is he from?
Minnetonka.
Yeah, Minnetonka High School zone. Keandre Miller.
Yep.
Where did he go after Minnetonka?
That's a great question. I can't remember. I think he went to USHL, if I remember right.
Okay.
I could be wrong. So he wears 79, obviously. And then, Josh, another guy from right next door, Lakeville, Minnesota, Charlie Lindgren, who just, I think, leads the NHL in shutouts this year with 6. He's a goalie. He wears 79, but he's only been in the NHL for a couple of seasons, so he would have to continue for a little bit to make this list. And finally, we're just going to mention Carter Hart wears number 79, but I think we'll just leave him be until his legal issues are sorted out if he ever plays again.
Mm-hmm.
With all that said, we're going to look at Michael Furland. And I wrote this down. I'm like really glad I did, because I learned a lot about a player that I had no clue about. And I'm guessing, Josh, you were not a big Michael Furland guy.
When I see his name, I think Michael Furda. Furda.
Furda, yeah. Furda. So Michael Furland, here we go. Left winger from Swan River, Manitoba.
Great vacation spot. Never heard.
Furland was the 133rd overall selection in the 2010 NHL entry draft by the Calgary Flames. Furland played in 335 regular season NHL games over a 6-season NHL career. Furland began his career with 4 seasons with the Flames. He then spent 1 season with the Carolina Hurricanes, ended his career with 1 season with the Vancouver Canucks. For NHL awards and accomplishments, not much, 0. For his
career. There was a time,
career,
Troy, when you used to feel bad about saying that. I kind of feel like you take pleasure in it now.
Nah, there's only so many awards and it's so much stuff that can go around that sometimes.
I don't think anybody's shocked.
Yeah.
Now, if we had like a button bar, it'd be awesome. Is like when you said nothing, if we had like a wah wah.
That's true.
Button bar.
Dude, I was telling someone I'm going to learn it this weekend. We'll see. Yeah. But now you got me going to the Minnesota Card Show, so that just took up all my time. Okay. On his NHL career, Furland had 60 goals, 74 assists for 134 points. Furlan made the playoffs in 4 of his 6 NHL seasons, compiling 3 goals, 3 assists for 6 points in 22 NHL playoff games played. Best season of his NHL career from a point standpoint was his 2017-18 season with the Calgary Flames, where Furlan had 21 goals, 21 assists for 42 points.
Yep. This isn't a math show, but I'm pretty sure it's 42.
Something might be, I'm off by 1 somewhere. In 77 regular season games played. Furlan was known for his physical style of play and also showed some flashes of skill during his 6th-season NHL career. However, prone to injuries and also had to deal with concussion issues, which ultimately hampered him during his NHL career, with the concussions basically ending his career. Currently, Josh, he's on the right side. For our YouTube viewers watching this, if you're looking at the picture, Michael Furlan is an assistant coach with the Brandon Wheat Kings team in the Manitoba U18 AAA Midget Hockey League. I think it was what it was.
Okay.
And looks like they actually won the championship of the league this year. I got this from his Twitter account. In addition, Furlan was also the head coach of the male team Manitoba at the 2023 National Aboriginal Hockey Championships, where the team won a gold medal, which is very cool. I'm gonna have to find out because it was called Male Team Manitoba. I wonder if they have the female version and those are the females, but it's male, MALE. I just figured I'd put the whole team name that it said, but yeah, they won the championship there too, where he was the head coach.
I have to admit, over the last 6 months, I think I've become obsessed with Canadian hockey team names. Like, I really want the Utah Yotes or whatever they're going to be called, to look very long and hard at like the old school, like the Seattle Millionaires or Vancouver Millionaires, and the Brandon Wheat Kings, the Kamloops, whatever they are, the Moose Jaw.
I saw a good one. The Utah Yetis was pretty good, and they had a sweet symbol too. It was pretty good.
I want a Brandon Wheat King sweatshirt. How do we get hooked up with that?
For sure. Awesome. And I think Brandon Wheat Kings, so they must have multiple teams because I believe aren't they a WHL team too, or like in the CHL somewhere?
Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe. I know. Don't we don't need to go off about CHL teams. We're so bad with NHL teams. Okay. Fun, interesting facts. We actually got a lot. Nicknames: Furls, which is kind of like Furda, and Furley.
Yeah.
So take the last name, make it cool. All right. Furlan is of Cree descent.
Okay.
And if you remember the Cree, because I think we've talked about this name, the Cree is a North American indigenous people that live primarily in Canada, where they form one of the country's largest First Nations. Little background on Furlan. Furlan was raised by his mother, lived in a household with his mom, an older sister, and younger brother. Mom struggled to fund her son's hockey dream and required support from charities such as Kids Sport and the Manitoba, I think it's Metis Federation, to help pay for his equipment. His mom also praised Furlan's sister, Samantha, in helping Furlan with his hockey dreams. His sister was not able to play competitive sports herself, as the family was unable to support more than one child in the sport. And she holds that against him to this. No, I just added that. Sorry, I don't mean to make fun of this, but it's like that would stink. But she made the sacrifice. When Furlan made the Midget Wheat Kings team, the parents of his Swan River teammates helped pay for his enrollment fees. So again, just pretty cool to see.
It's pretty awesome.
Pretty awesome. Struggled, got help, made the dream come true, and played in the NHL. Furlan struggled with alcoholism and ultimately turned to help from Flames head coach Bob Hartley and to teammate Brian McGrattan, who himself overcame a drinking problem. Furlan was also supported by Flames minor league coach Mike Thompson and celebrated 1 year sobriety on March 27, 2015, 2 days before scoring his first NHL goal. Upon Furlan's 1 year milestone, Hartley expressed his pride and support of Furlan for opening up and seeking treatment after he had noticed the player was struggling. Again, the player assistance program, we found out it's been around forever.
Yes.
And we don't think we ever heard about it until just recently. But here's a situation where a player actually reached out and got help, maybe when it wasn't cool or wasn't the thing to actually cool is a terrible word. It wasn't the thing to do. You're supposed to internalize everything, be a man, toughen up, and just basically keep it all bundled up inside you. But it's good to see that he reached out for help and got help.
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully things are still good. It looks like picture looks good, winning championships. So that's good to see. Final fun fact. In 2022, the late Gino, I can never say this guy's name. Ojic shared a story that Michael Furlan asked him if he should try to come back and play. Ojic said, I told him no. You should worry about your quality of life, but he wants to come back to training camp and give it a try. And I don't know what's going to happen. I'd be surprised if he passed his physical. Furlan decided against trying to make a comeback and focus on his health. That's got to be one of those things. Your career ends through concussions. You always sit there. You're probably feeling great. You're like, oh, I should try to go back. I'm still pretty young. But then the voice of reason's like, dude, you don't want to do it. Just
hard to let go when you've dedicated your whole life to be.
Well, look at Tom Brady. And I just saw an article where he said he could come back and play if he wants. He's feeling great. It's like, oh boy, here we go. Okay. So pretty cool background. I mean, very interesting background. Good to see. Looks like he's doing well now. Rookie card. It's on the screen if you're watching on YouTube. 2014-15 Upper Deck Ice number 86. Serial numbered out of 999. PSA has one graded copy of this card, and it's a PSA 9. Only 2 copies ever graded at PSA of a Michael Furlan card. BGS has 3 copies of this card graded. All are BGS 9.5s. These are the only cards BGS has graded of Michael Furlan. Found some sales in Terrorbeak of raw copies. I couldn't find any sales of the graded copies.
Sure.
Raw copies go for $5 or less.
I really dig that Calgary sweater there.
Yeah, isn't that kind of neat? I don't think I've really ever seen that one or remember it.
Yeah, I like it. All right, Michael Furlan. Michael
Furlan.
Learn something new every day on this show, Troy. You mentioned Hobby Deep Dive. That's what we're calling it today, at least.
All right.
And honestly, I had so much fun researching and doing a Hobby Deep Dive on a specific set of cards last week that I had to run it back, Troy. Do it again. So we're going to deep dive another set that you, the listeners and watchers of the show, chose via the Instagram poll we did the other day. The hobby has spoken, Troy.
All right.
They've spoken. Last week, we took an in-depth look at the 2021-22 Allure 16-bit Easter eggs. So I put up another Instagram poll, try to come up with some interesting set options a couple of days ago. And here's the results. So we had 1998 Bowman's Best Atomic Refractors, 2012-13 Fleer Retro Electrifying, one of my favorite cards, 2021-22 Fleer Ultra Medallions, and 1998 OPC Chrome Blast from the Past. Winner by last week's vote was like super close, like 1 or 2 votes. Pretty much a landslide this week with the 1998 Bowman's Best. Which one do you use?
I always call Bowman, but I've heard it both ways. And I feel like I say it either way at times, and someone will correct me. So I just give up on which one it is.
It's Atomic Refractors. We'll just go with that.
Yeah.
Okay, Troy. So the Atomic Refractor is a parallel card from the 1998 Bowman's Best hockey set. You want to show the picture of it?
Oh yeah, sorry. I was staring at like picture. There it is. Okay, there it is.
You made a point as we were kind of gearing up the show here about this segment and this card. And I think, especially if you're watching, probably the first thing you almost got to mention about this card is that there is no comparison at all of how awesome the card is in hand versus how, by comparison, terrible the pictures always are.
Yeah, and this is actually probably the best picture we're going to have in this. This is a really good picture, actually, for these cards.
Yeah. It doesn't hold a candle to what it looks like in person.
True. Agree.
So that's one thing. You got to see him in person to kind of, it's like the whole jambalaya thing to really get it. So it's a parallel card from the 1998 Bowman's Best hockey set. Every one is serial numbered to 100, and there's 150 different Atomic Refractors in the parallel set. It just basically mirrors the entire base set for Bowman's Best 1998. So again, all 150 base cards have an Atomic Refractor parallel. Even the checklist, Troy, which I had to throw that one up.
That's pretty sweet.
Yeah, so they stuck to the bit, right? And they're like, if we're going to give every card an Atomic Refractor, we'll give the checklist 1, 2. I should also mention too that it's not just Bauman's Best hockey set from 1998 that has atomic refractors. There's also sets for basketball, football, and baseball. The atomic refractors are also not the only parallel set from 1998 Bowman's Best release. There's a regular refractor set that has all 150 players on the checklist as well, and these are numbered out of 400. So the atomic refractors are out of 100, the regular refractors are out of 400. Now, atomic refractors are pretty tough chases in 1998 Bowman's Best with pack odds of 1 in 1,154.
Oh, wow.
And if you go back to that Gretzky picture that we showed,
Yeah.
to try to like explain maybe to someone that's never seen one, what makes atomic refractors design so cool is there's like a crazy, like almost kaleidoscopic, if that's a
Yep.
word, refracting nature to the card. It almost looks like you see like in a modern cracked ice card, but even
Mhm.
more extreme. It's got the gold kind of flaky with the rainbow colors within it. Like I said, if you ever get the opportunity to see one in person, they're just amazing. And I think that that's why these cards, the value tends to keep going up, up and up. They're one of the coolest card designs ever. I have
Oh,
one,
I was gonna say,
Joe
I wanna know
Thornton.
how this card got a PSA 9.
Oh, really?
This thing looks great. Anywho.
Oh, yeah. Like a lot, like they give like surface dings on a
Oh,
lot
I'm
of
sure.
those.
I'm sure.
Now, there were earlier years of atomic refractors for other sports, notably basketball. So, like in 1996, there's a Kobe Bryant atomic refractor rookie. There's earlier baseball too. The thing with hockey, though, Troy, is 1998 would be the first atomic refractor set and also the only one ever produced. And I think that's another reason why there's that mythical aura around these cards. We've talked a lot about on our show with recent releases how it's like, are jambalayas, are they getting produced so much? Are
Yeah.
PNGs getting kind of run into the ground? Are they too common now where they're not as special? If you're a fan of Bauman's Best atomic refractors, 1998 is the only year they were ever made. I think here's another factor why they're so chased. This is crazy. So there's 150 total cards. And Troy,
Mhm.
the checklist is loaded with Hall of Fame players. I'm going to go fast, but there's 38 Hall of Famers on the checklist. There's Yzerman, Correa, Gretzky, Yager, Messier, Rob Blake, Martin Brodeur, Brett Hull, Hasek, Forsberg, Doug Gilmour, Ziggy Palffy, Daniel Alfredson, Mike Vernon, Chris Pronger, Grant Fuhr, Brian Leach, Patrick Waugh, Chris Chelios, Ray Bork, Sergei Fedorov, Matt Sundin, Eric Lindros, Timo Solani, Nicholas Lidstrom, Mike Modano, Joe Sakic, Ron Francis, Brendan Shanahan, Jerome McGinley, Dino Cicerelli, Adam Oates, Joe Thornton, Pierre Turgeon, Mark Recchi, Scott Niedermayer, Marion Hossa, and Doug Waite.
All right, I'm gonna have to jump in.
Wait, did I?
I don't think Ziggy Palffy's in the Hall of Fame.
I thought I looked it up.
I looked him up because I was like, no way he's in the Hall of Fame.
Okay, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I probably made a mistake. My bad.
He's probably in like the Czechoslovakian Hall of Fame, but that's the only one that off the top of my head I was like just looked odd. But
Oh, he's in the IIH Hall of Fame. Sorry,
yeah,
my bad.
that's all right.
Not in Hall of Fame. Ziggy Palffy. Good catch,
not,
Troy.
not in the Hall of Fame.
Well, it's 37, and I maybe missed one too. So the point is, there's a lot. Now, the
Yeah,
interesting
there's a
kind of
lot.
yeah,
There's a
the
lot.
interesting thing about it is that there's also 24 rookies on the checklist, but honestly, like really not many big names at all. Like Milan Hajduk is probably the best player rookie on the checklist. So this is very much a veteran driven set. And the huge list of names that I've like kind of the who's who of hockey players at the time, right? That I mentioned. Someone might also be thinking, well, where's Mario Lemieux? So they only featured players that were currently playing in 1998, and Mario Lemieux was not playing that year. So that's why he is not on the checklist. Now, this card, the parallel atomic refractor out of 100, that again mirrors all 50 or 150 players on the checklist, is what most I think people connect to when they talk about 1998 Bauman's Best atomic refractors. But there are also insert sets as well from 1998 Bauman's Best that have the atomic refractor name, and there's actually 4 of them. So there's autographed atomic refractors. 10 players on the checklist, Troy. It's Hasek, Yager, Peter Bondra, Sergei Fedorov, Ray Bourque, Bill McCult, Brendan Morrison, Chris Drury, Mark Parrish, and Manny Malhotra. What's interesting is while there's 10 players on the checklist, there's 20 cards. Each player has an A and B auto version. So I have kind of 2 examples. So here's like if you're watching on YouTube, here's the A version of Peter Bondra auto, where he's like in the midst of like shooting a one-timer or something like that. And then there's a B version of as well that we have here. And this is like where you see you're watching where these cards, the images are always terrible online.
Oh yeah, these are tough. Now I will say I'm disappointed you didn't spend 5 hours to find the Mark Parrish versions of these cards, since he's from Bloomington, Minnesota, and we should call out all our Minnesota people.
One of us, Troy. He's one of us.
He's one of us. Okay, I had to look at. I think your list is complete on Hall of Famers, and Doug Waite, I don't think is in the Hall of Fame either. I'm getting ahead of this because we're gonna get messages. Look up Doug Waite.
All these.
Doug Waite, I don't think is in the Hall of Fame.
Fact check, Troy, with the fact check magic. Is he another guy that's in the?
Is he in some like random Hall of Fame?
It's in my Hall of Fame, Troy. It's in my Hall of Fame.
Rest of them seem right.
All right. Oh, he's in the United States Hockey Hall of Fame.
Close enough. He's in a Hall of Fame.
Evelyn, Minnesota, Troy. Evelyn, Minnesota. United States Hockey Hall of Fame member Doug Waite. You ever heard of him?
There you go.
Oh. Obviously, I suck. Let's just get that out there. But anyone unless this is the first time of you watching our show, you already know that. So don't worry about it. What I want to say though about the autos is I don't like these. It's not a card that should have an autograph. Some cards just shouldn't be auto. I know everyone loves autos and they're great. And I like autos too, but it's just like for the love of God, don't ever put an auto on a PMG.
How often is that where we say, man, I do not like an auto on this card? That's a very rare thing, but boy, it just doesn't look it doesn't look good on these cards. They weren't meant for autos. These were not meant for autos.
No. Not numbered either. Just kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, there's also a 10-card set of best performers atomic refractors. It's kind of a little bit of a weird checklist. Like Patrick Eliash, Patrick Marleau, Chris Drury, Vincent Lecavier are probably the biggest names out of the 10. These are numbered out of 50. I didn't like spend the time to look up like best performers in what regard, because it's not like it's like the top point scorer for every team or anything. It's there's probably some sort of theme to it. I just didn't look it up. Probably the most popular insert of the atomic refractors would be the mirror image fusion atomic refractors, which is a very long name for a sports card, Troy. It's like, how do you fit that one on a slab PSA? These are die cut, number one. They look kind of like puzzle pieces, which is a little weird.
Yeah.
Because there's like a thing on the top and then what do you call it?
Yeah, it is. It's literally a puzzle piece.
And they're dual-sided cards that have a player on each side. There's 20 different cards on the checklist, meaning there's 40 players that are featured. They're pretty low print run. They're all numbered to 25. And we're not going to roll through it because I don't want to embarrass myself again like I did with my Hall of Fame list there. But it's worth, if you've never done it, go look at the check. Like you can find it on TCDB. Go look at the checklist. It is the most random assortment of players to be featured. So we're showing right now the Wayne Gretzky, and you're like, oh, who is he? Oh, Rangers. Is he paired with Mark Messier? Who could it be? Or maybe like a Yager great goal scorers or some other assist machine. Nope. Brendan Morrison.
There you go.
Is the back of the Gretzky card. So I've asked you a lot of tough questions on this show, Troy, but I want to put you on the spot here. You own this card. You're lucky enough to own this card. It's out of 25. Which side are you displaying forward? Take your time.
I'm definitely going with the Gretzky side.
Yeah. And it's not the only case, right? I don't know like how many collectors out there are dying for that Patrick Waugh and Tyler Moss dual card. Or speaking of our guy, Mark Parrish, he is teamed up with Jaromir Jagr. It's just so random, Troy.
Yeah, that is random.
Okay, speaking of random, the last of the 4 insert sets for 1998 Bowman's Best Atomic Refractors is Scotty Bowman's Best, which is
There you
kind
go.
of awesome. I mean,
That is awesome.
if
That is
you
awesome.
think about it, but a little bit random too. It includes 10 players and then of course a card for Scotty Bowman himself. So the players include Hasek, Brodeur, Chris Osgood, Nicholas Lidstrom, Eric Lindros, Jaromir Jagr, Steve Yzerman, Peter Forsberg, Paul Kariya, and Ray Bork. And it's pretty obvious, but I'm sure he had a hand in picking the checklist, or somebody tried to pick one that's aligned because Hasek would end up having ties to him. Of course,
Yeah.
Osgood, Lidstrom, and Yzerman. So literally 4 of the 10 would end up playing for the Red Wings. These are all numbered out of 50. I don't know. Not something I really care about. Would you want one of these, or
I don't think so. I do love the name Scotty Bowman's Best, so it's awesome.
it's almost like, how do you not do it? So I totally can't dog them for making that decision. All right, so kind of to wrap this up, Trey, we're going to take a look at the top 5 selling Atomic Refractor cards with each respective top sale from 1998 Bowman's Best. Again, the reason why we do it this way is the top 5 sales would be all Wayne Gretzky Atomic Refractors.
Yep.
So that's pretty boring. So we're looking at the top 5 unique top selling cards, and then with each respective top sale. Number 5, a regular Atomic Refractor for Patrick Waugh. PSA 10 sold for $1,425 US last August. Now the picture is no longer available, so I had to just pick a raw one. Anyone I could. I mean, these do not sell very often at all.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're just got thrown away, or nobody cared, or people hold on to them and never sell them. But this, in any top 5 sales list I've ever done, this was the hardest to find images for.
If I remember right, I think Frank Porco at Burbank, when I went, had some nice nice ones.
Oh,
of
I'm
these.
sure he did. I'm sure he did.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he was right up. This is right up his wheel alley. So he had, I mean, he might have the best collection of them. I don't know, but they were. I remember looking. He had a lot of nice ones. I took pictures of them. But
you like this one? Would you love to own a Patrick Waugh?
oh yeah, I like that. I love the Coho goalie gear. Looks like it weighs a ton. I just love that.
Well, Patrick Waugh also comes in at number 4 with his Atomic Refractor Mirror Image Fusion duo buddy Tyler Moss, who a tough picture to see, very dark. This sold raw for $1,600 US.
Wow.
In April of 2020.
Oh, I guess Okay, we're coming out of COVID and all that.
Yeah, and these are out of 25. Remember, so these mirror. I still like the regular ones better, but at number 3 is the Atomic Autograph Jaromir Jagr, the B version. Very hard to even see his auto, but if you look closely, it's kind of right at the bottom of the circle there.
Yeah.
Huge grade though. BGS 9.510.
Yeah.
Sold for $1,708 US this past October. Like, I would totally trade this for his regular Atomic Refractor.
Yep.
And then some, probably. Number 2 is the Wayne Gretzky Brendan Morrison. Was Brendan Morrison like a big prospect or something?
Great question. I am not sure.
Because he's kind of all over this checklist. So
he played forever. He played for a while. 14 seasons. Yep.
Their mirror image fusion Atomic Refractor out of 25 PSA 9 sold for $3,660 US in July 2022. And then the big one, of course, is the Wayne Gretzky regular Atomic Refractor out of 100, a PSA 10. I couldn't find an image again, so I had to show a BGS 9.5. PSA 10 sold for $7,000 US in November of 2022. That's a big sale.
That's nice. It's a nice card. Looks awesome.
So in general, like, what's your overall kind of opinion of the Atomic Refractors?
Well, I've definitely seen them in person, so don't look at pictures and to judge off of, unless it's like one like this or that first Gretzky we showed. These cards are awesome. These are just an awesome insert. Stay away. I well, actually collect what you like, but I don't like the autograph ones. I think it's just not right. It's not the right card for an auto. They're hard to see, but these are fantastic cards. Late 90s inserts, love them.
Well, and we, of course, never, ever give sort of like investment advice. We have no idea if cards will ever go up in value. But if you are trying to identify cards that you think have a chance to go up in value, here's the way I look at this set. It's the only time it was ever made.
Yep.
I think there's 38 players on the Hall of Fame players on the checklist. It's probably 36. We'll leave that up to you to figure out. Regardless, it's a loaded checklist of Hall of Famers. They're numbered out of 100. And when you go and search, like we mentioned all the time, card letter sales history goes back 15 or so years.
Yeah.
There's only like 3 or 4 Gretzky's have ever sold on there, and they don't sell often. So if you come across one of these of a player that you believe in, if these don't go up in value, I don't know what does, Troy. I just, it checks kind of all the logical boxes in that regard. So again, make your own decision. But I'm a really, really big fan of these cards and would not hesitate personally to spend money on one and be comfortable that I'm not going to lose a whole bunch of money down the road. So, all right, that's it. 1998 Bowman's Best Atomic Refractor. We're going to move on, make a very quick mention for Gongshow partner and sponsor Slab Sharks. Of course, we're very thankful to them for their support of the show. Current Slab Sharks weekly eBay auction ends tonight. Be sure to head to slabsharks.com to place your bids. 2,200 cards ending in the auction tonight. Wow. I would say many to most-ish, if that's a word, are hockey, Troy. So that's a lot of hockey cards to choose from. If you don't catch our show on release day, which is shame on you, but okay, whatever your priorities in life are, I guess. No, we get it. It's like 7 hours long. Who has time to listen to the show? No worries. As one auction ends, the next begins. Also, if you're a Canadian hockey cards collector and are looking for a way to sell some of your cards without hassle, and you want the ability to expose your cards to a huge pool of potential buyers, then we'd recommend checking out Slab Sharks for your eBay consignment services. They make it super easy to sell your cards because, Troy, they do all the work. Everything that sucks about listing and selling your cards, Slab Sharks does for you. They take awesome photos. They list your cards, answer buyer questions, hunt down payment from winners. They ship your cards to the winners in both Canada and the US. And then most importantly, they handle any post-sale issues. Plus, Troy, their weekly auctions are so popular that there's a great chance your cards will be exposed to one of the largest potential buyer pools every week. Black Diamond's out today. So remember, Slab Shark's offering 98% payout rates on all Connor Bedard cards through June 1st. So when you pull those Bedsy monsters out of your Black Diamond boxes, there's no place that you'll get a better deal. Also just saw that at the expo, they're going to have their app and new portal launch party with a bunch of new features. So go to their Instagram to check that out. That's very exciting news for them too. But for complete consignment information and to start the process of consigning your cards with Slab Sharks today, visit slabsharks.com. Happy news!
Happy news. And also, Josh, breaking news. Kucherov, 100 assists. He got it.
He did it.
Yep.
That's awesome.
So now we're waiting on Matthews to get 70 goals.
So now here's the debate, right? So there's 3 finalists that can be on the MVP ballot list. If Matthews has 70 goals, or with 69 even, it's really tough to leave him off, right? So he's on the list. How do you... It feels like McKinnon, right, needs to be on the MVP final ballot as well, doesn't he? I mean, what has he got? He's second in the league in points with 138. Yep. So that last spot, in a lot of people's minds, comes down to McDavid and Kucherov. And you say, well, McDavid has 100 assists. So does Kucherov. Kucherov has 10 more points. So could we have a situation where Connor McDavid does not even make the final 3?
Is that crazy?
For NBA, that's how crazy of a season this has been.
Yeah, that is nuts.
And we're gonna go over our picks probably in the next few shows. Yeah. So we won't go that deep into it, but that is nutty. I really, really hope that AM34 gets that 70th goal. Want that to happen. Okay, back to the program at hand. Road to Infinity update, Troy. Got to take a quick look at our Road to Infinity progress, as they like to say in the business. Last show, we crossed the 1,400 mark for the PSA 10 pop count of the Connor Bedard base Young Guns. This is our quick turnaround show, right? 3 days as opposed to 4 days in between shows. Yep. So we'll see if there's any significant movement in the past couple of days as we see if we're pacing for our predictions that we both predicted it'll hit 2,000 by May 1st, basically the end of the month. So as of the most current PSA pop report. I just checked like 5 minutes before we started recording. It's still the same. Now the 2023-24 Bedard base Young Guns PSA 10 pop count, Troy, is up to 1,522. That's an increase of 120.
But it's
in
gonna
the
be
last
close.
3 days.
It's gonna be close, isn't it? To get
Now,
to 2,000.
3,298 copies of this card have been graded by PSA. We're staying now at a pretty consistent gem rate of 46%. So that seems to be stabilizing. So yeah, you're right. It's going to be down to the wire. This is a little bit of an impromptu conversation too to add on to this, but we did. It was a little bit of a not super controversial, but it was kind of an emotional topic, a heated topic a few months ago when the Bedard NHL draft Easter egg from Series 1.
Yeah.
PSA 10 had peaked at like $12,000 in January, and I think the pop was 18 at the time.
Yep.
So while I was checking the pop of this card, I checked that pop as well. Any guess what that's at right now?
I know. Well, I know the price. I don't know what the
It's
pop
kind
is.
of around. I think less than 3,000.
Less than 3,000. So which said would. I mean, I don't know if we said it would drop that far, but we knew it was going to drop. It's just what happens. But anyways, no, I don't know the pop. I would guess
56.
Oh, really? That's
So
interesting. Okay.
I don't know. I mean, I had predicted it'll get over 50 at the time.
Yeah.
Now I'm thinking 75 is realistic. You're not going to have a $12,000 card with the PSA 10 pop 75.
No.
So probably a topic to dig deeper into at a future date. We're going to move on though, Troy. I hadn't noticed the announcement of the NHL documentary that's being filmed right now that will run or will air this fall on Amazon.
Yeah, I don't know.
Did you hear that announcement? Because this they revealed one of the first subjects. Apparently, they're going to follow 10 to 12 players, and they're doing it right now. Quinn Hughes of your Vancouver Canucks, Troy. He looks super excited.
He looks like a zombie. He looks like a zombie, man. They're going to follow him around as he looks like he's murdering people. He's got blood on him.
He's got the kind of whole like Seattle grunge thing going.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Kind of fits the market. Yeah, I don't
love
know
the jersey. Love the jersey.
His hamster died that day or something like that, or why he was so sad. But yeah, so he's going to be one of the players chosen for a series that will be following him through the remainder of the season during the playoffs. Like I mentioned, there's at least 10 players, maybe 12. And the documentary style show will be due out on Amazon Prime in the fall. I am very excited about this. We've seen, if done right, these shows like Drive to Survive, the PGA show. Of course, everyone references The Last Dance, but that'll never be replicated again.
I'm putting the tweet up that we totally missed, just for everyone to see that we are.
Yeah, this came out. When was it? Like March 18th,
so
like a month ago.
Yeah.
Where who's Chris Johnson? I don't know like what outlet he's with. Yeah,
I have no clue. I'll look it up.
So it's a behind the scenes series, which very, very intriguing, and I just pray it's done right. So here's the big question, though, Troy. If Quinn Hughes is one of the 10 to 12 players, who do we think are the guys that have to be on this list to make the most compelling show? I'm going to list a few names, and then you tell me if you agree, and then I'm going to hear your any.
All right, before you start, I got Chris Johnson. He looks like he does probably freelance work for The Athletic, TSN, SDPN Sports there.
So reputable. It's so hard now that you can buy the check mark that.
Yeah, that's so dumb
to know anything like that. Okay, so I think you got to have Bedard on the list just because of all the intrigue and hype and hoopla, and to follow what I suppose is not in the, I guess what he's golfing this summer, or I don't know, trying to get taller, whatever his summer plan is. So would you agree with Bedard?
Yeah, Bedard would be a good one.
And then
it would be interesting to see his life, like what it is as a 19-year-old, or is he still 18, 19-year-old kid?
Yeah, something like that.
On the verge of stardom, and just what your day-to-day is like.
AM34 is another given. Austin Matthews in Toronto, kind of, hanging with the Beebs, right? It's like Beebs. Are they
just
like
in the hot tub the whole time?
Playing ping pong, yeah.
Just hanging out in the hot tub.
But in my mind, you got to have Austin Matthews. And then Matthew Tkachuk is right? And kind of the antics
Yeah.
and
It's got to be a
follow.
family show though with them. You got to have Brady
Yeah,
and Keith.
and
You
the
got to have them
Tkachuk
all
family.
together.
I think Ovi. I just want to watch him like eat
Eat
McDonald's,
hamburgers.
like in between every shift, and then like somebody say, "Hey, Ovi, it's 2024 and you've got 7 goals," and I'm go, "Oh, okay," and he starts, all of a sudden he becomes a scoring machine. I was conflicted on Crosby. It's like I don't think he would do it in the
I
first
don't think
place.
there's no chance. I don't
And
think
would
there's
he
any
just
chance
he would
to
just
do it.
sit there and stare at the camera and never
Yeah.
say it and be like very wooden. I kind of feel
Zero.
like McKinnon would be boring too, don't you?
Yeah, I mean, well, maybe maybe it's the Sid and Nathan McKinnon show. Maybe together they're hilarious. We've always heard they do have like a good sense of humor, but
Yeah.
Sydney, no way he would do this.
Too
Crosby,
reserved.
nope.
Matt Rempe, would that be kind of fun to follow his?
It'd be fun, but I don't think
Is
the
it too much of a
NHL's
sideshow act for you?
Yeah, I don't know if he's long for the NHL right now. I feel it's a sideshow. As much as I love it, I think I don't know.
You got to do Trevor Zegras, don't you?
Oh my god. We've already seen background stuff with him and how everyone hates him, and he's got that attitude, man, where people just do not like even like talking, like video of him talking or acting. He gives off that aura of like cockiness that people just don't like. I love it, but some people just hate it.
I think the key to this is finding really good players that are interesting to watch and also like 50% lunatics, because
Yeah.
that's going to make the most compelling TV. Like we could like maybe like Nick Suzuki in French class, like maybe that would be boring. Suzuki's too wooden for me.
Yeah.
Oh, another question. Do we let the production crew on the struggle bus? If any of these guys go on the struggle bus for the playoffs,
I don't know.
have you had
Struggle
conversations with the production company yet? Have they reached out to us? Are we involved in the show in any way?
No, because I'm going to make them sign a waiver that if they die on the struggle bus because it crashes into a wall, they can't sue us.
I thought, Trey, maybe like Logan Cooley as he like goes to Utah for the first time and acclimates to a new city. That'd be kind of fun. And then the last one is and I want to get your list. Not a player, but you got to have Torts on this, right?
Yeah, but Torts would end up like punching the cameraman or something. Like I'd love to have Torts on it. I don't think he would do it, but then kick out the camera people or something. Feel like he'd get pretty mad.
Well, we were in a text group and the Torts subject came up, and I was actually proud of myself because I think that I've found the perfect way to describe Torts. This is my new kind of like, if you ask like, what's John Tortorella like? He will take your struggling franchise and completely turn it around and then burn it to the ground.
Yeah.
After that. Right? That's like his whole thing. So, all right. Well, who did I forget? What are some other nominees you would have?
Fleury. Flower,
yeah,
I think, would be a
Flower.
good one. Just to see what his life is of a life of pranks.
I wanted to say Kaprizov, but I just feel like he would like smile and say "oopa," like "oompa, oopa."
Yeah,
oopa,
he'd be too
oopa.
worried about not getting like caught in Russia or sent back to Siberia or something.
Who's like the crazy goalies? Like I don't know. Like does Connor Hellebuck have a good personality, or there's no
Hellebuck? I've always just seen his right. Wah would be fantastic, but like Wah's crazy. Like I think he's legit crazy. Flowers, the one from the goalie standpoint, I would love to see. Vassy would be interesting to me, but I don't know if he would make a good TV show. But to me, he would be kind of interesting. Kind of the joke. Like Swayman and Allmark together would be a cool, like kind of an interesting one because they have such a good friendship, but they're also competing against each other.
Jack Hughes, he's got a little bit of a screw loose, right?
Yeah, he does. Yeah, he might have a screw loose that would make for some good TV.
Okay. Well, it should be fun. I can't wait for the fall. I'm assuming it'll launch like with the start of the new season, so that'll be exciting to look forward to. Well, we talked about Connor Bedard being young. The youngest college hockey player, Troy, just won the Hobie Baker Award. So Macklin Celebrini wins the Hobie Baker.
Oh, I thought it was this kid.
That is Macklin Celebrini, right? Yep.
Is that his brother? I'm hoping.
His brother.
Yeah.
So Boston College star Macklin Just kidding. What I meant to say is UMass star Mac. Oh, Wrong again, Troy. Maine Bears star, Boston University star Macklin Celebrini.
There we
won
go.
the
We
Hobie
got
Baker
there.
Award, the nation's top college hockey player for 2024. Just 17 years old still, Troy. Celebrini was the youngest player in college hockey this season and is the youngest player to ever win the Hobie Baker Award.
Boy, that goes against all the analytics and stuff about birth dates and all that stuff. Outliers, right? Malcolm Gladwell.
Mm-hmm. Celebrini finished third in the I should mention the other finalists were the Anaheim Ducks, not the Flyers, Troy, prospect Cutter Gauthier, and Carolina Hurricanes prospect Jackson Blake. Celebrini finished third in the nation in points this season. He had 64 points, 32 goals, 32 assists. So when I do 32 and 32, I get 64. When you do 41 and 41, you get 81.
I get way different numbers. I don't know what you're looking at.
He had 64 points in 38 games played. Pretty good for a 17-year-old. Macklin is the presumptive number 1 overall pick in the summer's 2024 NHL entry draft. Here's what Central Scouting Director, I don't even know what that is, but that was the NHL.com article, Dan Marr, had to say about
So it's
Celebrini.
a central like region, probably of the U.S. or no. I think they call their scouting service the Central Scouting like service. So the director probably is the head of it, if I remember.
Sounds like a Russian like governmental department, like the GRU or something.
Yeah, someone tell me if I'm wrong, but I think that's what it is.
Anywho, Dan Marr had this to say about Celebrini. He's a special player, belongs in that special category because in every environment, every situation he goes, he can excel, and that's hard to do as a 17-year-old.
And be special.
I
thought we were going to get 3 specials in there, but only 2.
Tried. Could only do 2. Okay, so Troy, right now, San Jose, Chicago, Anaheim, Columbus, and Montreal all have the best odds in descending order, right? So San Jose is the highest probability to get the number 1 overall pick in this summer's NHL entry draft. Of those 5 teams, where would you like to see him go? And
he's going to go to Chicago because the fix is in. I'm telling you, Bettman's going to make it happen. Now, where would I want him to go?
Chicago's number 2.
Yeah, Chicago's 2. Columbus, Anaheim, San Jose, not huge markets. Montreal would get a lot of exposure. I think he'll go to Chicago. I think I answered this once. I think we talked about this once before, and I
think it's in Montreal.
Yeah, so Montreal to me seems like would be a cool spot for him to land as like hype and market and everything. But Bettman will make sure he goes to Chicago.
San Jose, they do have Will Smith coming. There are some pieces, but I think if he gets drafted by San Jose, he goes back to college, frankly. I wouldn't want to show up there. Now, Anaheim and Columbus, they have to prove to me that they're like young talent factories.
Yeah.
But it's hard to find like where players have really panned out in those environments. So I would agree with you. I would say Chicago or Montreal would probably be the big hobby wins in that case. All right. We're going to move on. So we're at the end of the season. We've just been following. We do have an update. Did AM34 score a goal?
So it's funny. For some reason, I haven't seen this. Have you ever seen when you look at the game on NHL, when it's in between, they show 2 little Zambonis driving around the screen? So that looks funny. It's in
it's 5-1, huh?
Yeah, second intermission. AM34 has not scored yet.
Okay, 1 more period to get it done. So we have all these kind of historic seasons that are culminating. Mm-hmm. It's also the time of year, though, Troy, where we see college players that finish their college season and then sign their NHL entry-level contracts and make their on-ice debuts for their respective teams.
Yep.
Why that's significant in the hockey card hobby is because of the Young Guns rules, meaning that a player has to appear on ice in an official NHL capacity wearing their uniform in order to be eligible to be a 2024-25 at this point Series 1 Young Guns. And plus, because Upper Deck prints their cards overseas, there's a little bit longer of a lead time. So anyone that makes their debut now, conceivably, they would be eligible to be a Young Guns in Series 1. You may be asking extended series that comes out in a month or so. It's way too late for that. Yeah. Those cards have probably already been printed. And so right now, the earliest opportunity would be Series 1. Does that mean all these guys will be? No. It means they're eligible. And what Upper Deck will do is, to the best of their ability, in whatever lead time that they have to manage to, they'll make the decision probably to try to balance it out. They don't want all the big chases in one series. They try to like do what they did with Series 2 this year and putting like Bedard's Young Guns Canvas and
Yeah.
extended, putting Logan Cooley's Young Guns and extended to create chase opportunities for each of the flagship releases. So I have a list of 6 players that have, well, kind of 5 that have made their debut in the last week or so, and then sort of a special case that's worth mentioning. And just want to run through them quickly because these are names that we all need to start to familiarize ourselves with, as in, it'll come fast where we'll be not the spring expo, we'll be talking about the fall expo, and
Yep.
the Series 1 release typically coincides around that time, and kind of who the big chases will be. First guy we got to mention, Troy, is Cutter Gauthier. Now, is he putting
spicy.
on the Flyers jersey here or taking it off?
Ooh, spicy. That shot's fired right there, baby.
And well, the last thing we need is Philadelphia sports fans mad at us. So if anyone asks, Troy made me do it. Troy made me show the picture in Philadelphia. Okay, beyond the whole Flyers thing, did you see his comments right before the national championship game?
I did.
Yeah, I'm going to read the quote from Cutter Gauthier to a reporter asking about his excitement level to play in the national championship game. He said, "It's going to be epic. There's going to be a lot of emotions, a lot of tears for that team over there. So we're happy. We're excited to go after it." Well, oops, Troy. BC lost.
Lost 2-0.
Now, would he be a good candidate for the Amazon series?
Maybe. Like, I don't want to steal your thunder, but I do love the cockiness and the attitude and the arrogance, but you also have to back it up and not lay a dud 2-0 or go pointless.
Totally agree.
But I do love it. I love it.
I don't know if you caught the other day, but Denver coach Dan Carl was on Spit and Chicklets, and they had asked him about this Cutter Gauthier quote, and he said, well, that they didn't actually hear it before the game.
Oh, really?
So it wasn't exactly bulletin board material.
Mm-hmm.
But then he was asked about Cutter Gauthier in general, and I thought he had like an amazing response because he basically said, well, Dan Carl also coached the World Junior Championships team, and he said he was kind of a braggadocious loudmouth in the World Juniors, and I had to roll with it then, so I can't be mad at it now that we were facing off against each other in the NCAA tournament. So I thought that was a very evolved way to look at it. But yeah, Gauthier is brash, isn't afraid to speak his mind. I love it. I think it's the type of personality we need in the league to get people invested, to follow the storylines, whatever way you take it, either whether you love them or hate them.
Yeah.
Right. Wrestling isn't popular if there's not heels.
Yeah.
And he could be a heel, definitely. He's also a very good hockey player, Troy. He led the NCAA in goals this past season with 38 as a sophomore. The 5th overall pick by Philadelphia in 2022.
Who he told they can't wait to get there. Can't wait to get that Philly jersey on.
He's going to make his NHL debut tonight, Thursday night, with the Anaheim Ducks, which will make him eligible, of course, to be a 2024-25 Series 1 Young Guns. Now, would you like to see him in that release?
Oh, I think so. Yeah. I mean, that would be a huge name, Series 1. I'm fine. Put him in. Let's do it.
I love how the Philadelphia fans will be like boycotting. It'll be awesome.
Yeah. Plus, he's got the news that was kind of recent, so Series 1 to me would make sense. You know, out of all this, what I thought was most amazing about the NCAA, Denver has the most NCAA championships in men's hockey. I knew they had a lot, but I never pegged them as. I knew Michigan used to be number 1 or was tied. Denver has 10.
Did you see like the stats about this championship run and the whole notion of, or what just reinforces in hockey, of the ability to ride a hot goalie? They had like the
that guy was
least goals scored ever for a national championship winning team. Yeah, I mean, it was totally him. I mean, he literally won them the national championship.
Yeah, that guy was unbelievable. What was his Matt Davis? Is that it?
Yeah, something
pretty plain.
All right, the next potential Series 1 Young Guns candidate, Frank Nazar. Now, Troy, Did Connor Bedard score a goal on the very first shot of his career?
Oh, shots fired.
Frank Nazar did. I never did until we started this show. And how many times now?
It's a lot, isn't it?
Play. It's wild. It's
it's a lot on the first game.
First game.
Way more than I'd expected.
Or first shift. Not a ton, maybe first shot.
Yeah.
So Nazar is 20 years old. Just signed his 3-year entry-level contract with the Blackhawks on April 13th after his college team, Michigan, was eliminated from the NCAA tournament. Made his debut the next night. God, that's got to be so wild. We're literally in one day, you're playing in the NCAA tournament and living the college life, and then you're playing in an NHL game the next night.
It's like, well, yeah, Cutter Gauthier will be doing that too, right? Yeah. I mean, not the next day. But
they probably don't like he was in Minneapolis. There's no way he went back to Ann Arbor to get his stuff, right? They probably had to like go buy clothes or maybe I'm sure he traveled with clothes, but it's just crazy how fast that whole turnaround.
Oh, Nazar. What's his that? Nazar. That's who's going back to Ann Arbor. I'm like, no. I'm like, Gauthier is not back to Ann Arbor.
Nazar went to Michigan.
Gotcha.
So he made his debut the next night at the Blackhawks' final home game of the year. Scored his first goal on his first shot against Pyotr Kochetkov of the Carolina Hurricanes. Now, Nazar was the 13th overall pick by the Blackhawks in the 2022 NHL entry draft. Played 2 seasons technically at Michigan. He missed most of his freshman year with the lower body injury. I think did not make his debut till some point in February of that year. So kind of played maybe a season and a half. This year, though, Troy had 17 goals, 24 assists for 41 points in 41 games played. Another young, I guess, potential building block around Connor Bedard. So
yeah. I would be excited if I was a Blackhawks fan. Hopefully, I mean, they're still not going to be. They still need a couple of years,
struggle.
But they hope. I mean, if they get who I can't remember who we were just talking about. Who's the Celebrini?
Yeah,
they can get Celebrini. That'd be interesting to see how they develop.
We need to see these Michigan guys though, like do a little bit better. In the Fantilli got injured this year, but his numbers aren't great. Ken Johnson had spent a lot of time in the AHL. So Luke Hughes played well.
Yeah.
The Josh Doan story has been fun to watch. Big time local connection for the soon departing Arizona Coyotes. Josh Doan, Arizona State hockey player, son of franchise legend Shane Doan. Made his NHL debut on March 26th and only pumped in 2 goals that game, Troy, versus the Blue Jackets. Has not cooled down since. So he's played 10 games now and has 9 points, 5 goals, 4 assists. 22 years old, was the 37th overall pick in the 2021 NHL entry draft. Of course, is the son of Shane Doan, who is the franchise's all-time leading scorer. Doan played 2 seasons at Arizona State, then played in the AHL. So he was kind of called up at the end of last year to the AHL, though. Finished the season out there with the Tucson Roadrunners. Then he started this year back in Tucson and produced 26 goals, 20 assists for 46 points in 62 games played. He was leading the team in goals and points before getting called up to the NHL. So I don't know, maybe another young, nice piece for Utah fans to get excited about. Could be the franchise's first Young Guns chase.
There you go. I like
that. In that new. Oh, how are they going to do that? Though?
Did you say he's got a local connection? What's his local? Did you say that? Or am I making
local to the Coyotes?
Coyotes, gotcha. I was like, what?
Arizona State, and his dad was the.
yeah. No, I get that. I thought you meant local, like Minnesota. I'm like,
you just think everything's about us, Troy. Like, but what would they do though? Maybe he won't be Series 1 because he would have to be in a Coyotes jersey, and it'll be the Utah whatevers.
Yeah. No. You put him.
Yeah, you put him Series 2. If I'm Utah, I don't want him in that.
No,
I want him in the new brand. Okay. So
can we bet on this stuff? Could we try to find some sports book
like futures betting?
Yeah.
Well, I don't think we could because we know Billy.
Oh yeah, true.
Yeah, not that he cares what we say, but okay. Now there is a local connection because now we're going to talk about one of our players, and if you get mad at us, our team isn't in the playoffs, so give us something. Liam Ogren. In what's been a typical season of nightmares for our Minnesota Wild, Troy, could we see the emergence of Liam Ogren as maybe one of the couple bright spots? Our boy Kirill had a great year.
Yeah.
Nobody else did, but Kirill did. The 6 foot, 190 pound, 20-year-old forward from Stockholm, Sweden, where you've played hockey.
I've
We
been
know
there.
that.
Definitely been there.
Made his wild debut on April 12th against the Golden Knights. It was his second game, though, the next night versus the Sharks, where he'd register a goal and an assist. So he didn't get a point in his first game, but had a 2-point game in his second game. Ogren was the 19th overall pick by the Wild in the 2022 NHL entry draft. Played this season in SHL for, Troy, your favorite team, the Fjärjestad BK.
Nice.
I'm sure they have about 70 logos on their jersey, right?
Oh, those and the ice. Like, I don't know how you see it, watch a game in those leagues when it's just advertising everywhere.
So after the SHL season, Ogren came over, did a brief 3-game AHL warm-up with the Iowa Wild before making his NHL debut. So can he score goals, Troy? Could he complement a smiley and good-natured Russian dynamo? Please, for the love of God, can somebody help Kirill Kaprizov? So. And I guess if he's playing for our team, can he play goalie too? That would be another question.
Well, speaking of that, did you see who he signed?
No.
Fleury. We signed him for another year, $2.5 million.
What?
Yep. He'll be. It's in a backup.
Is Wallstead what are they going to get rid of Gus then?
I don't know, or if they're Fleury's being that mentor kind of thing. I don't know what Gustafson's contract is, but
they signed him to contract last year.
Oh, so then
at some point you got to let Jesper Wallstedt have a crack at it, don't you?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, they started giving some playing time at the end of this year, right? Didn't he get a couple games?
Now, the Wild, Troy, we've had plenty of Series 1 young guns lately. We had Boldy and Rossi in 2022, to be determined yet for both of those guys.
Yep.
Our guy, Brock Faber, D-Man Dynamo, Wonder Boy, some people think could be the Calder winner. I'm not going to say it. I don't want to get hate.
How about should be the Calder winner? Some people.
Yeah. So I said should be.
Yeah.
But yeah, we could have 3 years in a row with a decent Chase Series 1 young gun. There's some steam. Last kind of college guy I talk about is Gavin Brindley, another University of Michigan guy, and he's for the Blue Jackets. I think he's making his debut maybe tonight as well. Is that the thing now? Do Michigan players just go right to Columbus? Is that how that works?
Well, are these guys old? Well, nah, I can't even think. It's not even age anymore. I think the thing is, though, it's like the NHL teams. I mean, college hockey is good. I mean, I've talked about this a lot. Like NCAA Division I men's hockey is becoming like the top league to be in to go to the NHL. And if I'm an NHL team, I just want to see what they can do. Let's throw them in there, and if my playoff spot is either already set or I'm not going to make the playoffs, nothing can be hurt. Just let's see what our prospects can do.
So Adam Fantilli, Kent Johnson, Zach Werenski, Nick Blankenberg, and now Gavin Brindley are all Michigan alumni on Columbus. Brindley is a 19-year-old winger, just finished his college season and career at Michigan, just like Frank Nazar, where he was there for 2 years, signed his 3-year entry-level contract with the Blue Jackets April 15th, so a couple days ago. Oh, he did make his NHL debut Tuesday versus Carolina.
Okay.
Went scoreless, but did get 12 minutes, 20 seconds time on ice. He finished, Gavin Brindley, the 2023-24 NCAA season. Not bad, Troy. 25 goals, 28 assists, 53 points, and 40 games played. Gavin was also a member of Team USA's 2024 gold-winning World Junior Championship team, where another impressive performance. In 7 games, had 10 points, 6 goals, 4 assists. So we'll see if any of these Blue Jacket prospects can pan out for Columbus. Then the last guy, number 6, is not a college guy. He's an AHL call-up, but got to mention him, though. It's sort of our honorable mention. Logan Stankoven debuted, I think, on February 24th, maybe, or something like that. As you can see, if you're watching YouTube from the photo, Stankoven is a diminutive 5'8".
Yeah, he's the middle guy here.
Can play goalie in the NHL, right? At 5'8".
You can't even get looked at being 5'8" for the NHL, which is kind of sad, but
he's a 21-year-old forward. Did make his NHL debut again. I think it was February 20th something. Another one against Carolina. Is this like a new NHL rule that got to make your debut against the Hurricanes? I think like 3 of the 6 players we featured, like that was the case.
Hurricanes are good.
That.
They're a good team. So see what you can do against them.
So he's played 23 games, and he's got 6 goals, 8 assists for 14 points. That's not bad. He played last season in the WHL, Troy, with your Kamloops Blazers. There's another sweatshirt I gotta have.
Yeah,
producing a very impressive 97 points in 48 games played with 34 goals. Started this season in the AHL with the Texas Stars. Put up 24 goals, 33 assists for 57 points in 47 games played, more than a point per game. And honestly, if you go to NHL.com and look at, search like Logan Stankoven stats and look at his whole career, at every level he's produced goals and a ton of points. So we talk about that pedigree. And, the other last thing you could say is, as much as it just chaps my, that our Minnesota North Stars are gone. And it's hard for me to root for Dallas. You can't argue with the fact that, holy moly, are they just loaded with talent?
Nope.
And now they got another one. So there's one other guy we probably could have mentioned, a defenseman, I think from BU, Lane Hutton, who made his debut with Hudson with Montreal in the last couple days. Had a few good games, so maybe he's another guy that could be a candidate. But these are the guys who probably at this point would be bigger Series 1 chases. I don't know, the guys I mentioned, where do you think that the money would go as of right now? My money would be at Stankoven or Gauthier.
Yeah, I'd say Gauthier, but I think I'm really intrigued by Josh Doan because there's been a lot of stuff coming out about him. Like, it's just setting up perfect for his career and what he's going to do in the local angle. I think I'm really intrigued by him.
Well, if you guys think we missed somebody or should have someone else on our list, be sure to message us on social media or comment on YouTube. Okay, new product releases, Troy. Black Diamond came out today. I think both of us we've been pretty vocal over the last few shows that at $500 a box for basically 6 cards, you and I tapped out very early on this release, and it's just not for us. It doesn't make it bad. I did watch a number of breaks today. Did you watch any breaks?
I saw pictures of breaks. I saw a couple Bedards that got pulled.
Well, there's the 101 quad diamond that I think Montreal Card Chasers breaker on Whatnot pulled it. I don't know if you saw that.
I did not see that one.
Yeah.
Is that the product hit?
No, because there's the exquisite shield that I'm sure will be the product hit. So I just have some like general overall observations. And to me, it highlights the conundrum that Connor Bedard has placed on new product releases. I'm watching a lot of breaks, and the one thing I don't love, the biggest thing I don't love about Black Diamond is sticker autos. So I just got to throw that out there.
Yep.
And especially at $500 a box. That's tough for me. I just, my head can't get there. Right. Beyond that though, the cards look really good.
Yeah, they do.
Like the band of color look awesome this year. Like Upper Deck did great, and it's not like that the card designers or Billy or whoever does these sets or Tony or whoever did it, they don't set the price either, really. Yeah. Right. So it's not their fault. And that doesn't mean Upper Deck as a company doesn't have accountability over what the price is, but it's like, gosh, at a reasonable price, I wouldn't mind. Again, I don't like the sticker auto thing and some of the manufactured patch deal. I don't mind, for a Black Diamond set, I just think they did a really good job.
I just pulled one up on screen. This is a 23-24.
Yeah, and I saw a video and it looks even better.
Yeah.
And not like a still photograph. Like I saw it was a huge hit, like the Mint Ink. Is it Johnny, the owner of it? Like he was pulled one and pulled and a huge hit, and I'm very happy for them. The Bedard team logo patch auto out of 10. Again, monster card, but it's that manufacturer patch. I can't sell that card fast enough if I pull that card. And
bad picture, but
yeah, it's got like more purple.
There's the Caprice off it. This is a terrible picture. Looks really cool, but even for the low quality
who's
picture.
Got that? What are they?
It's on eBay. It's on eBay if they're asking.
$40,000.
No, $399.99. Or best offer.
But again, though, you pull that card.
You didn't make your box.
You didn't make your money back.
Okay.
On the box.
Josh, I gotta keep. I'm gonna show another one. Sorry, the screen keeps moving around for my YouTube viewers.
Oh,
Tony Esposito. Holy cow, that looks sweet.
Yeah, again, great job, Upper Deck, on that. I mean, that card is awesome.
They got that one listed at $433 US.
Again, you pull a Caprisa bag of color, and that's a top 5% box, probably, right? As far as like what you can expect to get out of it. And again, you're not making your money back. And so it's all about, with these 2023-24 releases, people that want to play the Bedard lottery.
Mm-hmm.
And the play is, if you're a collector, like this card, again, this Tony Esposito, what would you say 3 months from now, 6 months from now? It's what, a $30 card? I'm just being honest.
I'll say 50 is where I would go. But.
Yeah, 50 or less, right? Again, I saw many $500 boxes open that didn't have a card that nice.
Yeah. Well, actually, this is out of 23. I forgot about that. So, are they all out of 23?
Yeah, but I think if you go look at like
you're probably right.
History, there'll be a lot these first couple weeks.
Yeah.
So it kind of bummed me out. Like, I saw Austin Matthews band of color being pulled, and it was amazing. Yeah. The card designs look really nice. I like the quad diamonds. The Montreal card. If you go to Montreal Card Chaser on Instagram, I'm sure he's posted the 101 Troy. Again, though, $500 for you're like $85 a card.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just too, so I think if you really want to rip it, this is probably a product I would recommend breaking. I think if you drop $500 on one box, it's tough sledding to get anything remotely. There it is, right there, that first picture.
Top right. I'm not logged in, so I can't. If I click on it, it does a bunch of sign in stuff, but it's right here.
Yeah.
Oh, there. He must have a video of it being pulled. Oh no, what happened?
Oh, I think it's him like freaking out and
screaming and watching. They pulled the video cameras. That's pretty cool. Right, takes it, puts it down. Sorry, I don't know if that's even coming.
Congratulations to them. I'm sure
that's cool.
It means there's a part of me that's, and I'm not trying to be cynical, but it's like, if you're a breaker, it's just odds.
Yeah.
Right. So it has nothing to do with you. Maybe if you open more product than else, but I know it is meaningful to breakers. Yep. And it would definitely be a thrill. If I was a card breaker, I would be going bananas too.
Well, traffic and everything. I mean,
yeah. I mean, I guess maybe you're right. Maybe from that perspective, he's probably had more people check out his Instagram today than anybody else. So yeah, I don't know how to summarize that. It's like, I actually was very impressed with the set.
Mm-hmm.
There's just no way at $500 I'm doing it.
Yep. And it's like probably not going to go down anytime soon.
I think the trend is they've been going up.
Yeah.
So do you think that like 101 quad diamond is big enough where it would? I don't think so. I think if the
exquisites are still hanging out.
Yeah. Okay. You answered that question. All right, Trey. PWCC is a Gongshow partner and sponsor. Very grateful for their support. Huge auction ends tonight as well. Thursday night, the April PWCC premiere. We've been talking for the past couple weeks about the 4 PSA 10 McDavid rookie patch autos, all amazing. The AM34 Cup RPA and the 1985 OPG Mario Lemieux rookie PSA 10 that are all included in this month's premiere. We'll see what they end up selling for tonight, and who knows, maybe Troy will buy them all. If you're not the auction type and want to just buy cards, we recommend the PWCC fixed price marketplace. More than 5,400 cards you can buy, and many you can place offers on. But Troy, it is Thursday.
Yeah.
And each Thursday on our show, pick out a couple vintage and modern hockey cards we want to highlight from the current PWCC weekly auction. And so we're going to get right into it. Here's our favorites this week. So I had the first pick. With the first pick in the current PWCC weekly draft. Josh picks the 1973 OPG Tim Horton. Nice. PSA 7.5. So in honor of the Upper Deck Tim Hortons set Greatest Duels that was released this week, and we're going to be buying, hopefully, many packs. I'm going to be drinking a ton of coffee next week. Had to pick a Tim Horton card to feature. Tim Horton, Troy, is the namesake, of course, of the popular Canadian, was it a coffee shop, bakery, whatever they classify themselves as.
Breakfast place. They're
home of Timbits.
I always say they're breakfast, but they're like everything, right? Yeah. They have other stuff and
sandwiches and wraps. But I think Timbits, right? The home of the Timbits. That's the most important thing. So I got a question for you, Troy.
Yeah.
What do Burger King, Popeyes, Firehouse Subs, and Tim Hortons all have in common?
Oh, Burger King. Oh, I have no idea.
They're all
owned
the
same amount of franchises. Oh, they're owned by the same
RBI, Restaurant Brands International.
Oh, interesting. Did not know that.
Now, as we know, because we've been to Canada and the Toronto Sport Card Expo, that it seems like Tim Hortons are ubiquitous. Like they're the Starbucks of the U.S., right? Where everywhere you look, there's a Tim Hortons. But now I have a trivia question for you about that, Troy. How many Tim Hortons actually are there in existence? I'm going to give you multiple choice. Your choices are 5,400, 9,800, 17,000, or 24,000.
Holy cow. Well, I've seen about, I think I've seen 50 of them in just my small time in Toronto. Oh boy. I'm going to go 9,800.
5,400.
5,400. Okay. At least I was going the right way.
Yeah.
Like 20,007. That seems like Subway, McDonald's numbers.
Starbucks.
Yeah.
Tim Horton and a business partner, can't remember his name, opened their first donut shop in 1964 while Horton was mid-career playing with the Toronto Maple Leafs. He's not just the namesake of a great donut, coffee / restaurant, breakfast / lunch dinner place. He's a 4-time Stanley Cup champion, of course, in the Hall of Fame. He is in the Hall of Fame. I don't think we need to verify that. His number that we've previously mentioned been retired both by the Maple Leafs and the Sabres, Troy. Now, this card, the 1973-74 OPG, was during his second year with the Sabres, and unfortunately and sadly, the year he was killed in a car crash while driving between Toronto and Buffalo. So this is his last playing days card for Tim Horton.
Oh, really? I didn't know that. Yeah, okay. I mean, I knew he passed away in a car accident. Yeah. I didn't know this was his last card.
PSA 7.5, it's a pop 2, but that's because the half grade. There's 99 graded higher. There's 2 PSA 10s. The centering looks almost perfect on the card from left to right. Top to bottom looks really great as well. There's kind of some corner imperfections. Nothing too distracting. Now, Troy, are you one of those people that thinks that this set is, you'll hear a lot of people say it's like the ugliest set of all time.
I defended it last time. I didn't. Yeah. I think it really depends on the picture of the card. If it can match with that green border and how it's, I mean, maybe that inside cut or that design where it looks frizzy or it's not symmetrical can kind of bother people, but
it's a portrait card. Timmy looks kind of old and haggard, wouldn't you say, at this point? He was 44 when he died in February 1974, so pretty close to our age, Troy. So I suppose old and haggard, if you're looking at us, seems probably about right. I think it's a great card, important one to own if you're a Horton collector. Again, being his last card. Last sale of a 1973-74 OPG Tim Horton PSA 7.5, January 2022, when it sold for all of $20 US. What's that, like 3 orders of Timbits or something like that? Lower than I would have guessed for sure. PSA 9 is sold for as much as $232 US. But you got a current bid on this one?
So this one is currently $18 US. All
right.
Josh.
Yeah.
I was going to say we have an update.
It
Toronto
happened?
scored. It wasn't Austin Matthews, though.
Oh, are you kidding me?
Nope, it was
TJ Brody. Come on.
TJ Brody from our old guy, Connor Dwyer. And I apologize that last segment. I was looking down on my phone a couple times. My son is having a panic attack because he has hockey tonight and he got to the rink. He's like, no one's here. No one's here.
Oh, no.
Are you sure I have hockey? And I just sent a text to the coach. He's like, yep, I just walked in. So Sorry about that.
Hey, but a little bit of update because I have this. They're giving it the country try. So far, Matthews has 18 minutes, 27 seconds ice time, which amongst forwards is significantly the most, right? Marner is 17 minutes. So he's more than a minute more of ice time than any other forward. So it's
Nice.
I think there was some fear that they wanted to rest him. Sheldon Keefe had some like weird comments about not wanting him to get 70 goals, which is crazy. But okay, well, you're back.
I'm back.
Crisis averted, and you've
Crisis.
got the second pick.
I do. I do got the next one. I'm gonna pull it up here for our YouTube folks. And of course, I always hate myself when I pick these names because then I got to try to figure out how to say them. I pulled up and went with a 1951 Parkhurst. Now it says set break. Obviously, it's because it's from set. Bill Mozico, I think is, I don't know. I had it all phonetically spelled, and now I think I'm saying it wrong. So Bill Mozico. That's what I'm going with. Apologies if I say it wrong. So it's a 1951 Parkhurst. This is a rookie. Card number is 49. And it's a cool looking card. It's a guy I know absolutely zero about. So this is, as I always say, it falls right into my wheelhouse. It's a raw copy. It's got NBA authentication. So that's always good when they do raw cards. And Josh, what I actually love about this card is I actually like the picture on it because it's almost like it is an action shot. And with these 51 Parkers, we don't see action shots very much. It's always the standing straight in your good hockey stance, or there might be one where you look like you're skating, but this one I love the ice flying up, stopping. I think it just looks pretty cool, especially for those 51 Parkies. So I'm all for this card. Now, if we're looking at shape, let's just get the elephant out of the room. Top right, there is either a crease or
it looks like a crease.
Or the card, there's a line on it. We'll just say, and it's probably a crease. Not 100% sure, but it definitely looks like that. Centering though looks really good. Like left to right looks almost dead on. Top to bottom looks pretty good too. So it's definitely one of those cards. Corners are rounded from age. We see that all the time on these cards.
As long as they're evenly rounded, I don't mind.
Yeah. We talked about that a couple episodes ago. And then on the back of the card, again, there's kind of an issue at the top. Now, most people are, I should say most, some people don't care because it's on the back of the card. But just to know, there's some issue going on up there of like paper loss or something, or maybe a water stain. I'm not sure what it is. But again, let's look at the front of the card. And on the border on the left-hand side, looks like some marking again. All this means to me, honestly, is that, hey, I can get a 51 Parkhurst card of a pretty decent player for probably fairly cheap.
Yeah.
And with that condition, this should fall into pretty affordable. I always look at this as like a good starter card to build your 51 Parky set, Josh. So I figure you bid on this, buy this, and this is your start. And then once you get going, then you trade up later and get a really nice copy.
Why are you talking to me? You're the guy who hasn't bought a hockey card
in
like the last 47
I'm war chesting, man. I gotta put
holding you to that.
I gotta put my funny money order in for get my Canadian currency into the bank, so I can go at that. But anyways, all right, let's learn about our player that I can't say his last name, even though I tried and I phonetically looked it up and everything. Bill Mozico, I'm gonna say. Let's learn about him. Josh, Hall of Famer, one-time Lady Bing winner, two-time NHL second All-Star team, five-time NHL All-Star game selection, 258 goals, 282 assists for 540 points in 711 games. Played entire 14-season NHL career with the Blackhawks. Josh, he holds an NHL record that many think will never be broken.
How could it?
Fastest hat trick in history at 21 seconds. Came against the New York Rangers on March 23rd, 1952. Absolutely wild.
There's almost no way. Like, I'm sitting here picturing how that would happen.
Like 2 goals in 21 seconds. Okay, I can get that, but 3, holy cow. Chicago coach Johnny Gottsalig paired Mozico, I think, with the Bentley brothers, Max and Doug. The trio formed what came to be known as the Pony Line due to their speed and small size, and emerged as one of the top scoring trios in the NHL.
You know what that just sounded like? Have you ever had like a conversation with like your grandma or grandpa or older person, when they tell you about people that they kind of assume you know, and they just rattle off a whole bunch of names,
Yeah.
like you're supposed to know them, but you have no idea who any of these people are. You're like, yeah, like Johnny Gotzig, he paired Mosaico with the Bentley brothers, Max and Doug, and you're just like, okay, I don't know any of these people.
Oh, I think you said the name right, Mosaico, and I'm saying Mosaic. Oh, I give up. All right. After the NHL, Bill, I'm just gonna call him Bill, went on to play for the Winnipeg Warriors of the Western Hockey League. At the time of his retirement, Josh, from the NHL in 1955, Bill was 7th all time in league scoring with 540 points. Pretty wild.
That's not even the top 100 at this point.
Yeah, no kidding.
Not even close,
Mosaico,
probably.
yeah, Mosaico owned and operated a bowling alley starting in 1948. His family continued to run the bowling alley after his death until 2007. Gotta love that. All right. Last raw sale of this card I could find was on February 26th of guess what? This year via eBay, verified in Terapeak for $79.99 US. However, that card was in a lot better shape than this one. It didn't have a crease. A more comparable shaped raw card I found on eBay sold on December 27th, 2023 for $34.08 US. Current bid on this card is $11 US.
Big money.
Have at it.
Our last vintage card we want to feature is a 1954 Topps Gordie Howe PSA 4. So I gotta admit, like anytime I'm doing the Jeremy Lee show or PWCC Hockey Watch Party every Sunday, 8:30 Central, Sports Cards Live. You like how I'm a pro there, Troy, and I throw that promo into the conversation?
I do like that. I had a short panic attack. Toronto now has 4 goals in that game. Matthews has not scored.
Wait, they just got 2 more goals?
Yeah, Marner and someone else. Anyways, sorry.
Why are they not? How many shots does Matthews have?
I don't know.
11.
They're trying.
He has 11 shots, Troy. Holy cow. Okay. So, as I was saying, before I just went crazy, when this card comes up on the PWCC Weekly, like Jeremy goes kind of like crazy. Like, and me being naive vintage guy, he's like, this is such an important card. And he's right. But I'm just like, well, oh, okay. And so over the past, I want to say maybe 4 or 5 months, I've really gained an appreciation for this card. So why is it considered the important? That's what I wanted to learn during this research. It's Gordie Howe's first Topps card. As all, like when you looked at like 1951 to 53, they were all Parker. Starting in 1954, Topps made a set for the American teams. They're in America, right? So 60 cards for Detroit, Chicago, Boston, and New York, all produced and distributed by Topps. Now there is also a 1954 Parker's Gordie Howe card as well. Although the Topps version is much more sought after. Yeah, it doesn't hold a candle to as far as
that Topps one looks way better.
He looks like a Russian Red Army player.
Yeah, he does with that star. Yeah, true.
Yeah, it's just a really great card design in the 1954 Topps. It looks like Mr. Hockey.
Yeah,
I'm typically not a facsimile auto guy.
Yeah,
but I don't mind this one as bad. Yeah, image looks great. Very I always think of these like very like Norman Rockwell sort of because they're paintings of these 1950s kind of cards. So again, like Gordon or Gord or Gordy, whatever you call him, maybe Mr. Hockey, right? Looks very regal in the photo. He's stopping on one foot, spraying a little bit of ice, just like in your 1951 Parky Trey. Or Troy. Your name is Troy, not Troy. I think when you look at non-rookie Howe cards, this is one of the most beloved. And you look at like sales, this one sells really well. Are you a fan of this Gordie Howe card, Troy?
Definitely.
So we just had Sidney Crosby cross the 1,000 assist mark. Crosby now is 1,002, which is only now 47 assists behind Gordie Howe. Kind of crazy to think that Crosby plays a year or two that he'll pass Gordie Howe in assists. Now, Howe is still 4th all-time in career points, 1,850. Gretzky, Yager, and Messier are ahead of him. So getting back to Sid Troy and the Sid Howe connection, Sid is the closest active player in total career points to Gordie Howe with 1,594. And if Howe has 1850, there's no way that
Nah,
it is
Sid,
going to catch him
I don't
at
think
this
so.
point.
He did
Do you
get an
think that?
assist tonight.
Well, there you go. So Howe for the foreseeable future, if Sid is the closest active player to him,
Yeah.
Howe will, and I think Ovi is the next closest active, but he's way far away. And so this whole kind of frame of mind got me thinking, and I want to run something by you and just see if this makes sense to you. Could you make the comparison, or where like Gordie Howe's sort of the Mickey Mantle of hockey
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
in the
hmm
where because Mantle doesn't have the all-time home runs record or the all-time bat. He's not like the most, but he has such a high reverence, especially in the
Yep.
hobby. Where I don't see Gordie Howe ever being kind of knocked off of that sort of a Mount Rushmore type level. Okay, so I'm glad you think that that's a good comparison. Let us know if you think that's a terrible comparison and why. The PSA 4 pop count for the 1954 tops, Gordie Howe is 111. There's 3 PSA 9s, 0 PSA 10s. All-time high, Troy, for 1954 tops, Gordie Howe PSA 4, and this gives you an indication of how sought after this card is. 1,500 US for a PSA 4. Most recent sales a couple weeks after that were that was this January. And a couple weeks later, one sold for 1,225 US. You got a current bid?
120 US dollars.
Alrighty, we're going to switch to modern. So the first card, Troy, that I picked is a 2016 Upper Deck Connor McDavid employee exclusive PSA 10.
Fanning the flames here on the
Fan in the flames, man.
Employee exclusives or what?
Hot topic. As of late, Troy, are employee exclusive. So I had to. The other thing too is when you look at this card, it's a very striking to a Golden Treasures, right? So it's like, wow.
Yep.
Very, very interesting. I never seen it before either. Had you ever seen this card?
No, I haven't. I probably saw it, but I think it was because you were doing this segment. You're doing this card that I think is when I saw it.
One of the things I really appreciate about the PWCC Weekly is I run into this situation a lot where it's like, I have never seen this card before in my life. And I think that that's a lot of fun to try to learn about cards that literally you just saw for the first time 10 minutes ago. And it's kind of funny to me getting back to the whole Bedardzy thing. That, again, this is 2016. There was rookie versions of employee exclusives for McDavid.
Yeah.
These cards have been around for a long time. And now all of a sudden, because it's Bedard, of course, everyone's losing their mind about him. But this one's a 2016, so not a rookie year or anything like that. But again, pretty cool looking card. It's got that Golden Treasures vibe to it. Kind of got like the swirly, like sort of marks on there that are pretty typical. It's a PSA 10, so it's going to be a little bit more rare. PSA 10 pop count is 4. 17 have been graded, so 24% gem rate. Not a lot graded, but they're low, I guess, in that regard. Couldn't find a checklist, so I looked a long time, and there's only 2 other hockey cards that have been graded for the 2016 employee exclusives. Now there was like PMGs for like Austin Matthews and maybe Mitch Marner's and Matthew Tkachuk and all that, but the only 2 other hockey players that have this card are, the first one is like a name that's terrified me forever. It's Jesse Puljujarvi.
Puljujarvi, yeah.
Puljujarvi. I actually looked up a YouTube video, and then Patrick Liney. I mentioned that there's some PMGs from 2016, but again, this is more that Golden Treasures vibe. Now, Troy, there is a prominent Upper Deck logo on the front of the card.
Yep.
My question to you is, because it's an Upper Deck employee exclusive card, does the logo bother you in this specific instance?
Yes. Make it gold. That's all you had to do. Make it all gold, and it will blend in perfectly with the card.
Well, in honor of picking a McDavid card, Troy, I had to do a couple of McDavid fun facts. Some trivia for you in there, too, because I just love doing that lately. McDavid is tied with another active NHL player as the 8th fastest player to reach 500 points, doing it in 369 games. Who is that other player? Who else that's currently playing got 500 points and 369 career games?
That's a lot. Matthews.
Nope, your boy Crosby.
I was gonna say him.
Now, by the way, Gretzky was the fastest player to ever do it. Took him 234 games to get 500 points.
Wow.
Bonkers, right?
It's Matthews. Now that I think of it, is Matthews even at 500?
I don't think so.
I give up. That was so stupid. I had first thought was Crosby, and then I just did the dumb thing and decided to try to be smart. And
oh my gosh, the Maple Leafs have 4 goals now. John Tavares scored.
Yeah, game's over.
Stop it. It's over.
Yeah.
Oh, it didn't happen. 12 shots, Troy. Well, I mean, come on. You got 12 shots. You can't blame. That's a lot, right? Okay. Back to McDavid trivia. In the COVID-shortened 2020-21 NHL season, Troy McDavid had an amazing 105 points in just 56 games played for a point-per-game average of 1.875. Was this result top 10, 20, or 30 for points per game in a single season in NHL history?
When I see the number, I want to say top 10, but I feel like this is a trick question, so I'm going to say top 20.
Top 30. It was the
30. It was number 23. Wow.
But this is the highest point per game for any current active player.
Yeah, we got to remember those 80s and 90s were just. Is that where I'm? Gretzky probably has the top.
It's Gretzky and Lemieux have like the top 12. Gretzky has the highest points per game average in any single season, where in 1983-84, in 74 games, he averaged 2.77 points per game.
You're up. Before the puck dropped, you were up 2-zip. Is basically how you can read that.
Now, I could only find 33 lifetime sales in Card Ladder history for 2016 Upper Deck Employee Exclusive Connor McDavid. Highest all-time sales, 850 US for a raw copy in March 2022. Most recent was a PSA 9 that sold for 270 in November 2023. Remember, this is a PSA 10 Pop 4. So you got a current bid?
$320 US. All
right, you got the next one.
I do, Josh. Josh. Uh-oh. We got to zoom out. There we go. 2021 Upper Deck Premier Star Systems Gold.
I like
Brady
these cards.
Tkachuk. Yes. Brady Tkachuk patch auto out of 15 in a CGC holder, Josh. A 7. We don't see a lot of
CGC.
We don't see a lot of CGC hockey cards, but they're well, we've heard tough graders or good graders. A lot of people like to crack CGCs and then send them into PSA.
Not a bad plan.
Yep, those 9s and stuff to see if you can get 10s at PSA. But so again, before we get this card, I have to show this card. This other card that I didn't do and I didn't even get the picture of it, Josh. I'll go here. I know I brought it up last show.
I left that one for you because I'm like, oh, Troy Google Gagas.
I saw the Tkachuk and I was like, man, I love the look of this card. But this one, and I wanted to get out. We do McDavid a lot on this segment. Now it's warranted. Huge chase, huge cards. But there's this 2015 Exquisite Collection Connor McDavid rookie patch out of 99 that's in the PWCC. It looks absolutely amazing. Fantastic card. So just be aware of that one if you're a McDavid Bobo and you want to look at that card. All right, back to Brady. The other Tkachuk. Is that a diss if I call him the other Tkachuk?
Well, he's the captain. I don't know.
Brady's the boy, man.
All right, you have to go out on a limb. Which Tkachuk is better, Matthew? Or you're taking a team. You have to pick one of the Tkachuk brothers as the first pick. You're going to lose.
Well, you know what? I would probably want Brady from just the leadership standpoint. And I know he's bigger, right?
Yeah. Less injury prone, younger. So yeah, I'd probably go Brady too.
So I don't know if he'll get ejected in a playoff game that really matters for some dumb penalty like his brother did. But anyways, we digress. Back to this card. Very, very cool looking card. Josh, do you like the look of this card? Do the stars bother you? I love these star
systems. Yeah, okay. No. The patches are cool. I'm a sucker for Golden Gatos.
Okay.
I love cards that have a like dark background.
Yeah.
So I'm all about them.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. I do. I love the gold auto. It's really clean. There's a little streaking at the bottom, but a little clean. Now this card, it's a CGC7. Now they don't mention this in the title of the PWC auction, but if you look at the back of it, it's got an auto 10, and I believe that's what that
Oh,
means. I'm not a
oh yeah.
CGC guy, but so that's graded too. Now I'm going to bring out the. Here's the bad thing about this card right here. If you see the
Oh
patch
no.
window, there's basically almost a
Wait,
little
is that a
tear.
string or is that a tear?
I thought it was a tear, but now that you said that, there's some gold. And I wonder if that's a
That could be a
string.
Troy string.
Is that a string? I was so convinced it might be a tear, but that might. I don't know what that is. Okay, we'll just leave it like this. Be aware that that's there.
Yeah.
So I don't want to say I didn't warn you, but again, that's there. And I actually got a really nice Mike Bossy auto patch card with the same kind of issue that I knew I could see in the picture was a tear, and I got it like super cheap. So to me, if it's a card I want personally, I don't mind it, but I know this might bother someone. But that actually might be now that you said that, that might be a string hanging out.
It's
So
just
that or it
very
could be a tear. I
conspicuous
don't
that
know.
it.
I don't want to go either way. Just be aware of it if you're gonna bid on it.
Too
So
controversial to go one way or the other.
yeah, to one or the other. Again, like Josh said, the color on this thing pops. Corners look fantastic. Card looks really good overall, but with that grade of a 7, that's why I kept thinking that was something
Mm-hmm.
pretty big. So maybe that it is, but I don't see what if there's surface issues or anything. But again, very cool card. I think it looks great. I think the auto looks great. It's Brady Tkachuk. So we're gonna learn about a little bit of Brady. We're not gonna learn a lot. I'm just going over his stats. Josh, he leads Ottawa in scoring this year. 37 goals, 36 assists, 73 points in 80 games played. Slightly below his career high of 83 points last year. However, his 37 goals this season, Josh, are a career high.
Yeah.
He's a great player and the leader of the Senators that plays with a ton of passion. And Josh, our friend, Phil, the loud collector, loves him. So I'm just assuming all Ottawa fans love Brady Tkachuk. Because
You know
I
what's funny
believe
about Phil and Brady Tkachuk cards? I send him Tkachuk cards all the time. And actually, this is the thing I love about Phil is that Phil has unabashedly a way that he collects and cards he likes. Because I don't think I've ever sent him a card where he hasn't been, oh my gosh, thank you. I love the fact you send me, but I hate that card with a passion. It's like, even though it's his guy, it's like, okay, I'm just gonna keep sending you them so you can tell me why you hate these cards. But he's always so kind about it, which is
Yes.
and this just feels that one of the nicest people ever.
All right. Yeah. So again, Phil speaks for all Ottawa collectors in my eyes, or
Yeah.
Ottawa fans, and all Ottawa fans now love Brady Tkachuk.
Well, he's probably what 50% of the Ottawa fan base. So. Shots fired.
Shots fired. All right. For his career in 6 seasons, Brady Tkachuk has 162 goals, 186 assists, 348 points, and 439 games played. Now, Josh, this exact card did sell in the PWCC Weekly on February 25th of this year for $42 US, and it shows in the PWCC sales history. So that means it was paid for. So it's in there. So I don't know if someone's trying to do a quick flip or what. I don't know. But current bid right now is $23 US. Again, very cool looking card, but just be aware it's a 7. Be aware of what's going on around that border of that's a string or a rip or something.
Cool card, Troy. All right. Last one, 2018-19, the Cup, Wayne Gretzky, Brilliance Auto Raw, NBA authenticated. I think in a trade, I got a Nikita Kucherov Brilliance Auto last summer at a local card show, one of the Rosemont ones, or when it was in Rosemont, Troy. And of course, I traded it or sold it 2 months ago, where I'm sure it's doubled in value now because that's how collecting rolls for me, right? Buy high and sell low. That's seems to be mine. But I actually became to really appreciate the cards. And Brilliance is actually kind of a unique card. It's a cardboard card, but has like an acetate window, and the auto is signed over the acetate window. And again, I like my autos thick, I guess, and a thicker marker. But what kind of sets the Brilliance autos apart, and it was the same with the Kucherov. And again, it's the color of the auto. Like
Yeah.
Kucherov had like a really kind of like metallic, like almost neon blue auto, and this auto has like a really interesting orange. Now the auto is orange on a Gretzky card because Gretzky's pictured in as an all-star photo in the old school Campbell Conference jersey, which I love so much,
Yeah.
right? The old black, orange,
Yep.
and white of the Campbell Conference. So it's a kind of a color match to the auto a little bit, and really, really dig that. I don't know. Do you like the Brilliance cards or no?
I've seen some I didn't like, but I like this one. I do. I love the orange auto, and I think this one needs to be. If I remember right, these need to be a thicker auto because they're really hard to see if they're
Yeah,
thinner.
it's on an asset. It's on like a
Yeah,
window that it's
yeah, I like those.
the card design is very clean, kind of like you'd expect from a cup card. And there's a million different Gretzky auto cards. So I think the trick
Yeah,
is to find one or ones that tickle all the right spots for you, Troy, and your collecting sensibility. And this one hits the mark for me. It's a raw card again, authenticated by NBA. All raw cards and PWCC are. There might be some surface issues because if you go into the listing and with the raw cards, they do the heat map photos, and there's some yellow spots on the surface that you want to investigate for yourself. But again, that's just a nice feature that PWCC offers where instead of looking at like photos like that look like they're in a dark room on eBay, yeah, there's the photo right there, right? So it kind of
yeah,
identifies where some surface issues might be. Brilliance car autos from the cup are not numbered. I assume though the Gretzky ones are pretty rare. He usually typically has tougher pack odds, and any auto in the cup because it's a 6 card box is going to be pretty tough. I found only 3 public sales ever for this card, so I think that
mm,
supports that it might be a little rarer. Now there are other Gretzky Brilliance auto cards from different years of cup releases. So in 2012, 2013, and 14, there were Oilers autos, 2015 Kings, 2016 Rangers. Now, this is the only All-Star in 2018, and then came back in 2020 with Oilers. I think 2021, there's another. They went to horizontal, and there's a Kings card.
okay,
So it just, I say that because it's not the first Brilliance Gretzky auto, but it's the only All-Star. So if that's significant to you in any way, take that for what it is. All-time high sale for 2018, the Cup, Wayne Gretzky Brilliance Auto is a BGS 910 copy that sold at the end of this past December, Troy, for 312 US. Seems low to me, actually.
yeah,
Also, the most recent sale. You got a current bid.
180 US dollars.
To bid on these cards and all the other awesome hockey cards in the current PWCC weekly auction, head to pwccmarketplace.com. Okay, personal pickups.
We were talking about me. None.
Yeah,
Zero.
zero. None. Accomplishments. Nothing.
Nothing. I haven't done anything.
Well, I sort of backed into some personal pickups because I got some redemptions in yesterday from Upper Deck. One of them took forever, and one was super quick. So I opened up a box of Metal Universe the night we did our fantasy hockey draft for for our Discord,
Oh, yeah.
and got a Cole Caulfield Skybox Premium Prospects rookie. So that was like in September, right, or something like that, and got this Cole Caulfield rookie redemption. And then a few weeks ago, I opened up a box of Parker's Champions. I got a Matt Boldy auto redemption, and they both came at the same time.
Yeah, Baldy's cool, little nice auto. This I don't want to rain on your parade, but what a garbage signature. Jeepers. What's going on with that? His face looks halfway normal, so that's good.
It looks kind of sad.
Because he knew
It
that
isn't bad. Yeah.
this was a sticker that Upper Deck had to force him to sign or something.
Yeah, probably. So yeah, those are my personal pickups. More Chesney too. Cannot wait to get the show. I have a hit list of cards that I'm
Nice.
desperate to find. Well, that's our show for this Thursday. If you like this show, please leave a rating and review on Apple, Spotify, whatever podcast app you listen to us on. If you love the show, you want to support us, want to chat with us every day on the Hockey Cards Gongshow Discord server, please consider a $5 a month donation. Join our $1.99 support level tier on Patreon. Link is in the show description. On YouTube or on the podcast apps. It's in our Instagram or TikTok profile. You can go to our website, click on the Become a Patron link. That's hockeycardsgongshow.com. Or just go to the Patreon website directly, patreon.com, and search for Hockey Cards Gong Show. We're on social media. We're on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Twitter, and YouTube. And Troy, the Hockey Cards Gongshow podcast is a production of Dollar Box Ventures LLC. Have an awesome weekend, and we'll chat with you on Monday.